My name is Rebecca Torres. I'm an occupational therapist, 34 years old. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Third floor apartment in a converted Victorian house. Been there for 6 years. Never had any problems. Safe neighborhood, quiet building. Christmas night, 2021. I'd spent the day with my sister's family. Her kids, the usual chaos, presents and dinner and too much wine. I got home around 10 p.m. Tired, ready for bed, ready for the holiday to be over. My apartment is small. 1 bedroom, living room, kitchen. The bedroom window faces the alley behind the building. 3rd floor, 30 feet up. No fire escape on that side. No balconies, no ledges. Just a straight drop to the ground. I went to bed around 11 p.m., read for a while, turned off the light around 11:45. The room was dark, except for the street light glow coming through the curtains, that soft orange light, that urban darkness that's never completely dark. I was almost asleep when I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Soft, rhythmic, against glass. My bedroom window. I opened my eyes, listened. The sound came again. Tap, tap, tap. Not wind, not a branch. There are no trees that close to the building. Not random, deliberate, like someone knocking, like knuckles on glass. But I was on the 3rd floor, 30 feet up. There was no way someone could reach my window. I lay there, listening, my heart starting to speed up, that primal response, that knowledge that something was wrong even before your brain catches up. Tap, tap, tap. I sat up, looked at the window. The curtains were drawn, heavy blackout curtains. I couldn't see through them, but the tapping continued, patient, persistent. It's nothing, I whispered to myself. Ice or a bird or something. But I knew it wasn't ice. It was 52 degrees outside, no ice, and birds don't tap with that kind of rhythm, that kind of purpose. I grabbed my phone from the nightstand, turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminated the curtains. They moved slightly with each tap, like something was pressing against the window from outside, like something was pushing. Tap, tap, tap. I should have called someone, called 911, called building security. But part of me, the rational part, kept insisting it couldn't be what it sounded like. There was no one at my window. There couldn't be, not 30 feet up, not without equipment, not without me hearing something, seeing something, knowing. So I got out of bed, bare feet on the cold hardwood floor, phone in hand, flashlight beam shaking slightly because my hand was shaking. I walked to the window, stood 3 feet back. The tapping continued, regular, unwavering. Tap, tap, tap. Who's there? My voice came out thin, weak. The tapping stopped. Silence. I waited. 30 seconds, 45. Nothing. Just the quiet hum of the building, the distant sound of traffic, the normal sounds of a city at midnight. See? I said aloud. Nothing. It was nothing. But I needed to check, needed to prove it to myself, needed to pull back the curtain and see the empty window and the empty alley and know for certain that I was safe, that I was alone, that nothing was wrong. I reached for the curtain, my hand trembling. And the tapping started again, louder, faster, more insistent. Tap, 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 tap. Like someone demanding entry, like someone who knew I was there, who knew I was close, who wanted me to look. I grabbed the curtain, pulled it back, fast, ripping it open, and there was a face, right there, 6 inches from the glass, staring in. A man, maybe 40, maybe 50, pale skin, dark hair, expressionless, completely expressionless, not angry, not menacing, not threatening, just blank, staring, unblinking. His face was pressed close to the window, close enough that I could see details, the stubble on his jaw, the lines around his eyes, the flatness of his pupils, black, empty. He wasn't moving, wasn't reacting to me pulling the curtain, wasn't surprised that I'd looked, just staring, like he'd been waiting, like he knew I'd eventually look, like he had all the time in the world. I screamed, jumped back, dropped my phone. The flashlight beam swung wild across the ceiling, across the walls, disorienting. I scrambled for the phone, grabbed it, looked back at the window. The face was gone. Empty window, empty glass, just the reflection of my room, my own terrified face looking back at me. I ran to the window, pressed my face against the glass, looked down. The alley was empty. Streetlight casting shadows, dumpsters, parked cars, nothing moving, no one running, no one there. I looked up. The roof was another 10 feet above my window. No rope, no ladder, no equipment, nothing. I looked left and right. The walls were smooth brick, no ledges, no handholds, no way to climb, no way to reach this window without specialized equipment, without preparation, without making noise. But he'd been there. I'd seen him, 6 inches from the glass, face expressionless, eyes staring, real, solid, present. I called 911, hands shaking so hard I could barely dial. 911, what's your emergency? Someone was at my window, looking in. A man, he was staring at me. What's your location? I gave her the address, the apartment number. She was calm, professional, probably thought I was drunk or high or imagining things. You said someone was at your window? Can you describe them? A man, 40, maybe 50, dark hair, pale skin. He was right there, right at the glass, staring. Are they still there? No, he's gone. I looked away for a second and he was gone. Ma'am, what floor are you on? 3rd floor. 3rd floor? Are you sure you saw someone at your window? Yes, I'm sure. He was there. He was looking at me. Is there a fire escape, a balcony, any way someone could access your window? No, nothing, just a 30-foot drop, but he was there. I saw him. Another pause. Longer. We'll send an officer to check the area. Stay inside, lock your doors, don't open them unless you confirm it's police. The officer arrived 20 minutes later. Young guy, maybe 28, polite but skeptical. He checked the alley, walked the perimeter, came back shaking his head. No ladder, no ropes, no equipment, no footprints on the ground or on the dumpsters, no sign anyone was out there. He looked at me carefully. You said you saw someone? Yes, a man, right at my window, staring in. From outside? 30 feet up? Yes. Ma'am, there's no way to reach your window without equipment, and there's no evidence anyone tried. No marks on the brick, no disturbances, nothing. I know what I saw. He nodded, not believing, not dismissing entirely, just processing. It's possible you saw a reflection or a shadow. Sometimes at night, with the streetlights, things can look... It wasn't a reflection, it was a face, a man's face, 6 inches from the glass. Have you been drinking tonight? 2 glasses of wine, hours ago, at dinner with my family. Any medications, anything that might... No, I'm sober, I'm not hallucinating, I know what I saw. He wrote down my statement, took photos of the window, the alley, the building exterior, told me to call if I saw anything else. Left his card. After he left, I called my sister. She offered to come over, stay the night, but I said no, didn't want to seem crazy, didn't want to burden her with this,
didn't want to admit how scared I was. I didn't sleep that night, sat in the living room with all the lights on, watching the bedroom doorway, listening for the tapping, for any sound, any indication that he'd come back. Nothing. Just silence. Just the normal sounds of the building settling, the radiator clicking, the refrigerator humming. Morning came. Gray winter light. Christmas aftermath. The world continuing like nothing had happened. But something had happened. I'd seen him. That expressionless face. Those empty eyes. That presence at my window where no one should be able to reach.
I researched everything I could find. Building schematics, climbing equipment, human capabilities, what's physically possible, what isn't. The window is 30 feet up, smooth brick, no ledges, no handholds, no nearby structures. To reach it, you'd need a ladder, which would leave marks and make noise, or climbing gear, which would require anchors and leave evidence, or a lift, which wouldn't fit in the alley. The police found nothing. No evidence, no footprints, no equipment, no disturbances. But I saw him, clear as day, clear as the face I see in my mirror every morning. I talked to my neighbors, asked if anyone else had seen anything, heard anything. Nothing. Just me. Just my window. Just that one night. I called my therapist, told her everything. She talked about stress, holiday anxiety, the mind playing tricks, sleep paralysis even though I'd been awake, hypnagogic hallucinations, all the rational explanations. But I know what I saw. I know the difference between real and imagined, between solid and shadow, between presence and absence. That face was real. Those eyes were real. That tapping was real. 3 weeks after Christmas, I moved out, broke my lease, paid the penalty, found a new apartment, ground floor, windows that face the street, windows that anyone could reach if they wanted to, windows where faces make sense. My sister thinks I overreacted. My therapist thinks I need medication. The police think I imagined it. Everyone has an explanation. Everyone has a rational answer. But none of them were there. None of them heard the tapping. None of them pulled back that curtain and saw that face, 6 inches from the glass, 30 feet in the air, impossible but present, empty but aware, staring, just staring, like he'd been waiting for me to look, like he wanted me to see him, like the seeing was the point. I think about him constantly, that expressionless face, those flat black eyes, the way he didn't react when I screamed, didn't move, didn't flinch, just watched. What was he? How did he get there? What did he want? I don't have answers. I have questions, and I have the memory of that face burned into my mind, replaying every time I close my eyes, every time I hear tapping, every time I look at a window and wonder what might be looking back. I don't live on the 3rd floor anymore. I don't close my curtains at night. I sleep with the lights on. I check my windows obsessively, multiple times, making sure they're locked, making sure nothing's there, making sure I'm safe. But I'm not sure I am safe, because if he could reach the 3rd floor, 30 feet up, impossible access, no evidence, then what's stopping him from reaching the ground floor? What's stopping him from being at any window, any door, any glass surface between me and the outside world? The police said it was impossible. The building manager said it was impossible. Everyone said it was impossible. But I saw him on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away,
vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real, and somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I'd imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked, when I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I had imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there, still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night, 2021, at my bedroom window, 30 feet up, where no one should be able to reach, tapping, waiting, staring. And when I finally looked,
When I finally pulled back that curtain, he was there, 6 inches from the glass, close enough to see every detail, close enough to know he was real. Then gone, the moment I looked away, vanished, like he'd never been there, like I'd imagined the whole thing. But the tapping was real, the face was real, the terror was real. And somewhere, maybe at another window, maybe at another building, maybe waiting for another person to hear that soft, rhythmic sound and pull back their curtain, he's still there. Still tapping, still staring, still waiting for someone to look. I looked on Christmas night. I saw him. And now I can't unsee him, can't unknow what I know, can't pretend that windows are safe, that height is protection, that impossible things don't happen. Because they do happen. I'm proof. That face is proof. 30 feet up, no access, no evidence, no explanation. Just a man at the window, staring in, expressionless, empty, real. And the worst part, the part that keeps me awake, that makes me check the locks, that makes me question every shadow, is this. He didn't look surprised when I opened the curtain, didn't look caught, didn't look anything. He looked like he'd been waiting, like he knew I'd look eventually, like he had all the time in the world, like he was patient, like he'd wait as long as it took, for me or for someone else, for that moment when the curtain opens and the face appears and the impossible becomes undeniably real. Tap, tap, tap. I still hear it sometimes, in the quiet, in the dark, that soft rhythmic knocking, and I wonder, is it real? Is it memory? Is it him at some new window waiting for me to look again? I don't pull back the curtains anymore, not at night, not quickly, not without preparation, not without knowing, absolutely knowing that I can handle what might be on the other side. Because once you've seen that face, that expressionless, empty, impossible presence, you never feel safe at windows again. You never stop hearing the tapping, never stop wondering if he's there, waiting, patient, eternal. Just 6 inches from the glass, where no one should be, where nothing makes sense, staring, always staring, waiting for you to look. The man at the window, on Christmas night, 30 feet up, impossible but real. I saw him, and now I can never unsee him, never forget,
Never feel safe behind glass, behind curtains, behind the thin barrier between inside and outside, between safety and whatever he was, whatever he is, whatever's still waiting at windows across the city, across the world, tapping, staring, patient, forever. Tap, tap, tap.
My name is Marcus Vega. I'm a software engineer, 41 years old. I live in rural Vermont, 20 miles outside Burlington. Farmhouse at the end of a 2-mile dirt road. Woods on 3 sides, nearest neighbor half a mile away. I like the isolation, the quiet, the distance from everything. That's why I moved here 5 years ago. Needed space, needed silence, needed to not see another person unless I chose to. Christmas Eve, 2022. I'd driven into Burlington for last-minute groceries. The store was closing early. I left around 10:30 p.m. Roads were empty, most people already home, already settled in for the night. The drive back takes 40 minutes, 2-lane highway for 30 minutes, then a 10-minute stretch of county road through dense forest. No streetlights, no houses, just trees and darkness and the occasional deer crossing. I know this route, drive it every day, know every curve, every pothole, every landmark, could drive it blind if I had to. But that night felt different, colder, darker. The kind of night where the forest feels alive, where the trees lean in, where you're aware, viscerally aware, that you're small and alone and surrounded by wilderness that doesn't care if you exist. I turned onto the county road at 11:07 p.m. My headlights carved a tunnel through the darkness, illuminated 50 feet of asphalt. Everything beyond that was black, complete. The kind of darkness you only get miles from civilization, miles from artificial light, miles from anything human. 5 minutes in, I saw it. A red light, single point, glowing in the woods to my right, maybe 30 feet off the road, low to the ground, not moving, just there. Christmas light, I thought. Someone's decoration. Wind must have knocked it loose, blown it into the woods. But that didn't make sense. There were no houses here, no driveways, no structures, just forest, just trees, just wilderness. Still, a red light, unmistakable, glowing steady, that distinctive Christmas light red, bright, artificial. I drove past it, checked my rearview mirror. The light was gone, swallowed by darkness, by distance. 2 minutes later, I saw it again. Same light, same red, same low position, but further ahead now, still in the woods to my right, still glowing, still impossible. I slowed down, stared at it as I approached, trying to make sense, trying to see what it was attached to, what was creating that glow. Nothing, just the light itself, floating, suspended, glowing in the black. I drove past, watched in the mirror, gone again. Another 2 minutes, there it was, further ahead, same position relative to the road, same height off the ground, same steady glow. "What the hell?" I said aloud. I stopped the car, middle of the road, no one else out here, no one to worry about, shifted into park, left the engine running, headlights on. The light was maybe 40 feet ahead, 30 feet into the woods, just sitting there, glowing, waiting. I got out of the car. The cold hit me immediately. 20 degrees, maybe 15 with wind chill. My breath fogged. My skin stung. I walked toward the light, slowly, carefully. Snow on the ground made it tricky. Ice patches hidden under powder. "Hello?" My voice sounded small, swallowed by the forest, by the trees that pressed close, by the darkness that seemed to have weight, substance. The light didn't respond, didn't move, just glowed, that steady, unwavering red. I got closer, 20 feet,
15, 10. I could see it clearly now. A single Christmas light, round bulb, red, glowing bright, but no wire, no cord, no socket, just the light itself, floating, hovering, 3 feet off the ground. This isn't real. I stopped walking, stared, my rational mind trying to process, trying to explain. Reflection, phosphorescence, some kind of bioluminescence? But I'd lived here 5 years, walked these woods dozens of times, never seen anything like this, never heard of anything like this. I took another step. The light moved. Not away, not closer, just adjusted, maintained distance, like it was aware of me, like it was watching, measuring. I stopped. It stopped. We stood there, man and light, separated by 8 feet of snow-covered forest floor, surrounded by darkness and silence and cold. "What are you?" I whispered. The light brightened, just for a second, a pulse, like acknowledgement, like response. Then it moved, fast, darted between trees, disappeared. I ran back to my car, breathing hard, heart pounding, slid behind the wheel, locked the doors. Ridiculous gesture, locking doors against a light, but instinct took over. I put the car in drive, accelerated, needed to get home, needed to get out of these woods, needed to be somewhere with walls and lights and rationality. The light appeared again, ahead, to my right, keeping pace. I was doing 45, 50, 55. Speed limit was 40, but I didn't care. Needed speed, needed distance. The light matched me, glided through the trees, effortless, unwavering, that steady red glow moving parallel to my car, never falling behind, never pulling ahead, just there, always there, watching, following. I slowed down to 30. The light slowed. I sped up to 60. The light sped up. Perfect synchronization, like it was tethered to me, like it knew my speed, my position, my destination. "Leave me alone," I shouted. Stupid, shouting at a light, but fear makes you stupid, makes you say things, do things, believe you can communicate with something that shouldn't exist. The light pulsed, bright, dim, bright, dim, like breathing, like laughter. 3 miles from home, 2 miles, 1 mile. The last bend in the road, sharp left turn around a massive oak tree that's been there probably 200 years. I'd taken this turn 1,000 times, knew it perfectly. I came into the turn, 50 miles per hour, too fast, but I didn't care, needed home, needed safety. The light shot forward, straight line, cut through the trees like they weren't there, moved so fast it left a red streak across my vision, like a tracer round, like a bullet made of light. It disappeared around the bend, ahead of me. For the first time all night, it was ahead instead of beside. I took the turn, tires slipping slightly on ice, corrected, straightened out. My driveway, right there, 200 yards, my house at the end, porch light on, windows dark, home. The light was gone, no red glow, no presence in the woods, nothing, just normal darkness, normal forest, normal night. I pulled into my driveway, parked, sat there for 5 minutes, engine running, heater blasting, hands shaking on the steering wheel. It was nothing, I told myself. Trick of the light, reflection from the dashboard, something rational, something explainable. But I knew better. I'd seen it, watched it move, watched it keep pace, watched it respond to my speed, to my stops, to my presence. I finally got out of the car, grabbed my groceries, walked to the front door, keys fumbling, hands still shaking,
got the door open, got inside, locked it behind me. Deadbolt, chain, every lock I had. Safe. I was safe. Inside, protected, away from whatever that was, whatever followed me, whatever disappeared when I got home. I didn't sleep that night. Sat in the living room, lights on, curtains drawn, listening for sounds, for tapping, for anything. But there was nothing. Just the house settling, the furnace running, normal sounds, safe sounds. Morning came, gray winter light. I made coffee, tried to convince myself it had been nothing, exhaustion, stress, trick of the light and shadow and an overactive imagination. I opened the front door to get the newspaper, force of habit, even though I don't subscribe anymore. Cold air rushed in. I looked down at the porch, and I saw them. Footprints. Small footprints. In the frost, leading up to my door, right to the threshold, then stopping. Just stopping. Like whatever made them had stood there, right there, outside my door, while I was inside, while I thought I was safe. The prints were maybe 6 inches long, 4 inches wide, not human, not any animal I recognized. 5 toes or 5 points, hard to tell. The frost showed impressions but not details, just the shape, the size, the presence. They came from the woods, single line, straight from the tree line to my porch. No prints leading away, just approach, just arrival, just evidence that something had come here, had stood at my door, had stopped. I followed the line back with my eyes, into the woods, into the trees where the light had disappeared, where it had shot forward and vanished. It had come here, whatever it was. Whatever followed me 10 miles through the forest, whatever kept pace with my car, whatever moved through trees like they weren't solid, whatever glowed red like a Christmas light that shouldn't exist. It had come here, to my house, to my door, and it had stopped, right at the threshold, like it couldn't enter, like it couldn't cross, like it was waiting. For what? Permission? Invitation? Something? I called my neighbor, the one half a mile away, asked if he'd seen anything strange last night, any lights, any movements, anything. Just the usual, he said. Quiet night, quiet Christmas Eve. Why? No reason, just checking. I didn't tell him, didn't explain. What would I say? That a red light followed me home? That something left footprints at my door? He'd think that was crazy. Hell, I thought I was crazy. But the footprints were real, frozen into the frost. Evidence, proof. Something had been there. I took photos, measured them, researched everything I could find about lights in forests, about unusual tracks, about Christmas phenomena, about folklore and legends and rational explanations. Nothing matched, nothing explained, nothing made sense. The frost melted by noon. The footprints disappeared, like they'd never been there, like I'd imagined them. But I had photos, I had measurements, I had proof. 3 nights later, December 28th, I drove home late again. Same route, same county road, same stretch of forest. No red light, no presence, no following, just normal darkness, normal trees, normal drive. But I watched for it, every shadow, every reflection, every movement in the peripheral vision, waiting for that red glow, that steady, unwavering presence, that sense of being followed, being tracked, being watched. Nothing. It was gone. Whatever it was. Whatever followed me Christmas Eve, it was gone. But I still check the porch every morning, look for footprints, for evidence, for signs that it came back, that it's still here, still waiting, still standing at the threshold. Because here's what I can't stop thinking about. It stopped at my door. Didn't leave, didn't retreat, just stopped, like it was waiting, like it wanted me to know it was there, like the following was just the beginning, like the arrival was the point. It followed me for 10 miles, matched my speed, responded to my stops, moved through solid trees, glowed without power, existed without explanation, and then it came to my house, walked through the forest, left prints in the frost, stopped at my threshold, stood there, watching, waiting. For what? What does a light want? What does something impossible want? What was the purpose of following, of arriving, of leaving evidence that it was real, that it was there, that it knows where I live? I don't have answers. I have questions. And I have the memory of that red light, glowing steady through the trees, keeping pace, never falling behind, never giving up, following, always following, until it got where it wanted to be. My door, my house, my threshold, the boundary between safety and whatever it is, whatever exists out there in the forest, in the darkness, in the places we think we understand, but don't, can't, won't. I still live here, still drive that road, still come home late sometimes, but I watch now, always watch, for red lights, for movement, for signs that it's back, that it's still following, that it's ready to complete whatever it started on Christmas Eve. Because it didn't finish, it stopped at the threshold, stopped at the boundary, like there are rules, like there are limits, like it needs something before it can cross. Permission? Invitation? Something? I don't know, but I know this. It was real. It followed me. It came to my house. It left proof. And somewhere in the woods, in the darkness between trees, in the cold Vermont forest, it might still be there, waiting, watching, glowing, that steady, impossible red, ready to follow again, ready to match pace, ready to arrive, ready to stand at another threshold, another door, another boundary, waiting for someone to see it, to acknowledge it, to wonder what it wants, what it is, why it exists. The Christmas light that shouldn't be, the red glow that moves through trees, the presence that follows and arrives and leaves tiny footprints in the frost. I saw it on Christmas Eve 2022. For 10 miles it kept pace, and when I got home, when I thought I was safe, it came to my door and stood there, in the cold, in the dark, in the frost that preserved its prints for a few precious hours before the sun melted the evidence. It was there. It is real. It knows where I live. And every night when I lock my doors and turn off the lights and try to sleep, I wonder, is it still out there? Still waiting? Still standing at thresholds across Vermont, across the country, across the world, following, arriving, leaving prints, waiting, patient, eternal. The red light, in the woods, on Christmas Eve, following you home, and standing at your door, just standing, just waiting, just there, where it shouldn't be, where nothing should be, where the frosts will prove, for a few hours before the melt, that impossible things exist, that they follow, that they know where you live, and that they're waiting, always waiting, at the threshold, in the cold, in the dark, glowing, red, steady, forever.